And time.
Wow.
My goodness.
Deafening silence.
Deafening. There was a silence of 3 parts.
And it took 5 seconds apiece,
yes.
which added to 15 seconds, which is because this is the first week ever of the Pop where I am not the host.
You had a 100 episode run, Ben.
And then I lost it.
Right. You made it to triple digits. That's quite a streak.
I know. Okay, so for the folks at home, in case you're not up on how it works, basically over on our patreon.com/popcornculture, everybody who signs up at any given tier is contributing a vote as to which of the two of us is the host. And since the beginning, I have held on to that post the entire time, but we have always offered that opportunity for folks who didn't want to choose one of the two of us.
Right.
So there was always this host neither option where if it ever managed to edge its way out, then we would have no host. And this week it happened.
Neither, which has been sitting in a solid 3rd place the entire time.
Oh, it hasn't even been close. Has mounted a victory thanks to the power of one single dedicated anarchist. Well,
I say?
I mean, I am inclined to believe that it is all one and the same person. It could be a wild coincidence.
It could be. However, let me just give so the way it also works is that we have 3 gold level tiers where if you sign up, you're able to cast 100 votes.
Yes.
Which is power, to be sure. Although it's $250 to sign up for that tier.
It's kind of one of those things where it's the expectation is that no one will ever sign up for this tier.
It's there. If you want to cause chaos, you can.
This is one of those odd things, to get the peek behind the curtain. But if you go to a podcast convention, this is sort of one of those pieces of advice. They're like, you should have this tier. No one will ever use it, but in case.
You never know.
It's there. And
it's you don't expect anyone, especially, I would never expect anyone to sit there for months or anything.
Yeah, no.
Maybe it's especially because the way we do it, maybe someone could do it to try and tip the scale for an episode and then take it away.
Right.
I mean.
And here's the question too, it's can you put a value on leaving your mark? And in this case, Audio Tech 978, Audio Tech 979, Audio Tech 980, and Audio Tech 981. That is the 4 usernames that were used by what I believe is, of course, the same person to purchase 4 slots at this tier.
At the tier.
which pushed Host Neither clean into the victory position.
Into victory position. So that happened.
Yeah,
that happened.
So first episode back, having had a child.
Yeah.
And the first thing we talked about. Yeah. Is who was the one
you're
true
gone
host.
You're gone for 2 weeks, Ben, and you come back and anarchy reigns. And this is what happens.
It's true. I can't believe I left. I was like, what's the worst that can happen? I'll barely be gone. Well, apparently this. Apparently this.
Apparent.
Lee. Hey. Pun not intended, but totally gonna snag it. That's pretty great. So so I am coming in now. I actually still have one full week of paternity leave.
Yes,
left,
thank you for being here to record the Pop with us before you head back to fatherhood.
Well, here I was thinking at least if there's one place where I feel at home while at work, it's doing the Pop because I am the one true host, and then I get here and everybody's like, oh dear.
We have some news.
There have been developments. Anyway, so I am 2 full weeks into Parenthood at this point in time, and it is so absolutely remarkable. The phrase that someone had told me prior is that the days are long and the years are short, and
it is the most true sentence ever.
This is the funniest thing is that it's there's a part of me that's already I can't imagine what I mean. It has literally been 13 days. It hasn't even been a full 2 weeks yet, and it's just this is my whole world now. This is it occupies every minute. I'm always thinking about it. I'm always doing something related to it. We're always tired, but in such a really, really great way. The way I keep describing it to people is that it is the only time in my life where I have been so sleep deprived, but have such ridiculously high morale.
Yeah.
So it's you're really tired. And it's kind of like that, like you really just want like the moment, like the window where you can like just go and like lay down for a few minutes and kind of have like a power nap or something. But at no point in time have either Alyce and I really been like down in the dumps about anything related to being new parents. Like it's been absolutely amazing. And it's been like really, I think, what is the best way to describe it? Like very incredible to me. This, not to go too deep with it, but like as someone who has had depression for like multiple years now, the amount that this small human can like buoy my spirits is the most remarkable and incredible thing.
It is crazy the effect new babies can have on you. I think one of the earliest vlogs I ever did was called like how to deal with anger or something. And it was shortly after Luke was born. And I remember I was just like in like a very bad mood when I came home from work one day. I think we gotten off the phone call with someone and I was just like, I was so mad.
I remember exactly who it was.
But Luke was just like right there, and I went to go change his diaper and just smiled up at me, and I was like, "Oh, this is so great!" And then we went for a walk, and that helped too. And I think my takeaways from in that vlog were like, find a baby, go for a walk.
Yes, yeah. It makes a lot of sense because it's really been kind of like my thing too. Is you'll and we've had reason to be overwhelmed. I guess in the past couple of weeks to kind of like. To start to tell this tale as to everything we've been going through since it's happened, because it's been a shockingly eventful period of time. Maybe not even shockingly. I mean, I'm sure anybody who becomes new parents, the expectation is like a lot's going on. But
it's unbelievable to me that every single person has arrived on the planet in the exact same way, and yet I have yet to have a set of friends who have children who have like an even nearly similar birth story about how their kids were born. It's like everyone's here the same way, and yet somehow it continues to be super different for every set of parents.
It is so variable. As to like how all those moments can go down. But for us, like we had like sort of a really, I don't know. It's just been such a long saga because everything started for us. It is currently November 8th of 2021. And I believe we found out we were pregnant for the first time in July of 2020.
Right.
And through the course of the past year and a half or so, we did have 2 back-to-back miscarriages. The first one was pretty early, and like we were, it was like a big emotional blow, but like understandable, I guess, at least, or more common than we expected.
Right.
The second one was extremely brutal, and we were further along, and the complications were just out. They were just very unexpected and rare.
But they were.
It was just a lot. But so realistically, we had 2 months after that pregnancy before we got pregnant for our third time, and this time now being like the full course. But through all of that, like we've sort of had this really interesting and developing relationship with our doctor.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been through 2 miscarriages and now like an entire pregnancy with the same person. That's you spent a lot more time with your pregnancy doctor than probably most people do.
Yes.
Leading up to the birth of their first child.
Yeah. And so with that, it's like, especially that second miscarriage, like going in and the way that he had to like deliver the news to us as to like what had happened, what was going on, the circumstances around it. It was just like, it forged this like relationship with this person that was so like, so it's hard for me to talk about.
Dude, it's okay. You're doing great, man. I am proud of you for even being able to talk about it, because it's like you've been through a lot with this one person, and the stuff you dealt with was emotionally heavy, and I know what you're about to say, and I know that's even more emotionally heavy. Well, maybe not even more, but it's very heavy as well.
Yeah, it really is. So, we go in, we sit down with this person, and this is someone who just like loves what they do. They really care about, every person. Sorry.
It's all right, man. Take a breath. This episode of The Pop is brought to you by Ben's newly discovered feeble emotions, having become a parent.
Yes.
Not feeble. That's the wrong word.
Yeah. Extremely sensitive.
Yes.
Yeah. So we went in, and one of the things that like anybody who knows us through this entire process has known that we've talked so highly of our experience with our both nurses and doctors along the way, and I'll get through it, I promise. So as we got closer to our birth, one of the big things that we had that just ended up being bad timing was that our doctor, who again had been with us the whole time, was going to be off work and like out of town for like a big conference that he had to go to. And it was really important to us for him to be there. So, and it was going to be like 4 days off of our due date anyway. So it wasn't like a big deal, but we ultimately ended up going the route with induction specifically so that we could have him there with us.
Yeah.
Because that was just like, it was so hypercritical to just our experience, you know? So it's not that I would always advocate for this path or say that it's right for everybody or anything, but it was right for us. And so we got in and we went through, you know, started like the labor process, and Alyce labored like a freaking champ for, 24 hours. And then
It was a long delivery.
it was.
Yeah.
It was. We went in on my birthday, and so we were there. Like I said, like Alyce was just like going through all the contractions, all the motions, just like all the stuff for this big long stretch of time. And then finally we get to the point where we can like push and everything's going well. And Alyce is doing, again, just like so incredible. I mean, she was such a champ through, I don't know. I mean, just what is so physically taxing, and just the level of physical exhaustion, the fact that she hadn't eaten for, over 24 hours. And so like we're going and going and going, and everything's really intense and hard. And then we sort of have this moment where Alyce's fever basically spikes, and that it spiked to a point which basically meant infection was involved. So
Right.
like, cause you can raise your temperature just by laboring, because it is an incredibly difficult process on the body. But it ticked over high enough that it was like, this isn't just from that. This is something like much
Something else is happening too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So there was sort of this like, moment where the doctor comes in and, he's sitting down with us, and he's like, we have these three options. We can either, everything is of course your choice. Like, you're allowed to determine which path you want to go on, but you can either switch to an emergency C-section. You can continue to push, which may be more dangerous, where we can basically like accelerate the delivery by using like birth tools effectively. Which is ultimately the path we ended up going, because the real danger both for Alyce and the baby all of a sudden happened, and it was like, we need to get her out,
right?
All at once. And so we like everything starts going forward. Like the whole team goes into action. There's just a group of nurses just like everywhere in the room with you. It's just an absolutely unreal experience.
It is. I remember we had a similar situation where, once like Luke was arriving, it's crazy that Alyce was in it for 24 hours. I think once Beth went into delivery for Luke, it was like 15 minutes. It was like boom. But it was, there was like all of a sudden this insane urgency, because no one was expecting it, and all of a sudden it was just like, here we go.
Right.
And I remember doctors and nurses like frantically running around, and you're sort of looking around and like, no one's talking to me, and no one's really saying if something's wrong. But it's like, I don't know. It's like even now, maybe they were saying stuff. I remember people saying things like, "Oh, the oxygen's dropping" or something. But yeah, all of a sudden, all these birth tools were out, and they ended up using like the forceps and getting Luke out of there, and everyone was fine in the end.
Yes.
But it's just like there was and it's like I don't know what it's like when people give birth. Is it always this crazy and urgent, or this feels like there's like, I don't know, 19 more people in the room than I was expecting. So
right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that's definitely how it was for us. So, and for me, like I'm like, everybody's wearing masks, but like, the way that like I communicate with people is I'm always trying to like read people like through their eyes. So,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm like, I make eye contact with me and I need to know like what you're feeling based on this moment. So, Addison comes out and, they set her on Alyce, and Alyce is just like in a state of pure euphoria because like she's done it. She's got it. Like, her daughter, our daughter is there in her hands, and it's like, we did it. But like those first minutes, I remember I was like looking from like person to person to person. And of course, all these people are talking to each other because they do this, like they're a team, they deliver babies, they know what they're doing, and they know like the procedures. But me standing there, I'm like, what is happening? Why are these people? How is everybody talking? Is she breathing? Like, and they're trying to get her to cry to like get like the fluids out of her lungs and stuff. And so just like I'm like having this moment of pure, I want to be pure excitement, but I need to know that she's okay.
Right.
Like I can't go high and come down. So like I need to know that she's okay. And she was. So all around, I mean, it was such a cool experience, and I love watching people who are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Like it is just something that I have like an utter fascination with. And so to get to see these people in motion, especially like the nursery, nurses who are the ones that like sort of take them and like get them all ready and do all this
bundled
stuff.
up, wiped down.
Right. Yeah. Like the level of like efficiency and both like, speed at which they can like handle this child who in my mind is like, like has like glass bones, I'm like,
The exact opposite.
Right. Like you have to be,
They're basically made of rubber.
yeah, just noodles. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But it was just really cool. It was really cool. And then like to have those like first moments and to like see her eyes, because you and I both have like green eyes with sort of like a gold ring.
Yeah.
And so like one of the first things as like her eyes opened up, you could like see this like really faint ring around like, her pupil.
Oh,
and I'm like,
really?
I'm like, oh my God.
That's crazy.
She's going to have my eyes,
That's amazing.
Amazingly cool. But then like because there's this possible infection involved, they gave us a very brief period of time, and they were like, here's your baby, take your moment, and then we have to take her to basically start on antibiotics.
Now
immediately. And so, like everything you read about it is there's like this big skin to skin
the skin
moment.
to skin thing though.
Right. And so really like our whole plan is just being like dumped right out the window to no fault of anyone's at all. It's just how things went.
That's the piece of advice I would give to anyone who's about to have a baby is like, go in with like it's okay to have a plan, go in with the plan, expect it all to go out the window.
Yes. So literally Allie had like three things, like three key stipulations. She was like, I don't want this, and I don't want this. And all three of those things happened. And it was like, okay, well, what are you going to do? So that's the other bit of it though.
But how does she feel on this end of it?
Allie?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely amazing.
Right.
Yeah,
did those things end up mattering?
No.
Right.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, like everything's good. Everybody's healthy. Allie's healthy. Addison's healthy. So all is well. But then, they had to take her from us. So we go through all of this stuff, like this year and a half worth of pregnancy, this 24-hour long labor, 2 hours of pushing, pure chaos. And then she like leaves the room.
Right.
And we're like, Allie and I are just sitting there like, what do we do? What do we do?
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? So it took 2.5 hours before we got her back.
Oh man.
And there's a picture that Allie took, but like it was like me getting to like really like have a moment with her for the first time. And it's so, I'm so glad she took the picture, because I think, and I posted it to my Instagram, but I feel like you can just see with your eyes exactly like what I'm feeling.
Right.
Like I'm just like, I'm so immediately so obsessed with this like small person.
Right.
She's so great.
Yeah.
She's so great. But so anyway, I mean, we got to have our early experiences. We got to, we had to spend a couple of days in the hospital because of the infection and everything. And Allie had to be safe. The baby had to be safe. Everything had to get through. We finally get home, and this is sort of where things got like, they took like this really just odd turn, because we've basically just had like a perfect, 48 to 72 hours when Alyce gets a call from her cousin who works at the doctor's office that we go to, the doctor that we've been with this whole time, and he died.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the next day.
That is unbelievable.
I mean, it's...
And he's like, because he wasn't like an old person.
No,
at all, right?
no,
He was like
he's-
mid-40s or something.
Yeah,
right?
like in his 40s. And,
Goodness.
So, I mean, this was like one of those like weird... It's remarkable to me. Again, I guess the underlying point that I would want to say is basically just that, like, it's amazing to me, I think, how as much as like Addison needs us in every single way, it's like she is absolutely the thing that like is making it okay for us, like that it's like saving us basically, because
Right.
it's just, I don't even know how to, I mean, I can't put words to it. It was like just the most shocking and unexpected thing imaginable, because, you know, he's like been this like rock for us the
Right.
entire time. And it's just been this person who just cared so much about the health of our baby and making sure that she got here safely. And he like even specifically like got us this like induction date before he was leaving on the trip so that he could be there.
Right.
And so, you know, like as far as we know, Addie was the last baby that he delivered.
Right.
And then
Goodness.
yeah. And
It's crazy how stuff like that can like I don't know, happen and work out in almost this like what feels like almost like divine intervention kind of way. Like, you know, you could have chosen to wait for him to come to come back from the trip or something.
right.
You know, in which case maybe that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
You know, like I can't even, like, as terrible as it is, like I can't imagine what it would have been like if that had happened while you were still pregnant. You know, like then it's like that much. That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's really the thing, is that like, we're, you know, obviously just so immensely grateful that he was able to be there for it. And I do think it meant a lot to him, as far as we could tell, like, because, you know, he had seen us go through this just like unbelievable journey, and he had been there for every step of the way. And, I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot. And as everything has unfolded over the past couple of weeks, it's really just like Allie will have all of these moments, you know, like where she just went through like a major physical medical procedure effectively herself, right. You know, and this person who we've always been able to, you know, to call and say like, you know, hey, we have this thing going on. Like, is there anything that we can, like, that you recommend? Do you have any thoughts? Like, whatever. It's like, for us also, it's like we kind of felt like we were just like alone.
Yeah.
You know, like we didn't have that like support system to get back to and everything. Which we're building back now, and things have started to find their way. But it's been interesting for me too, because on the pop, I feel like I ask a lot of these like really big questions of like, what is the point, I guess?
Yeah.
You know, and I really feel like one of the more remarkable takeaways that I've been able to have is that I can't possibly imagine, like, if anything ever happened to me, having a situation where I could want anything more than the response to the loss of this person, like what it has been. Mm-hmm. Like it's been so clearly someone who had left such a positive impact on the world. Like I feel like I can absolutely safely say, like, just made the world a better place. Mm-hmm. And I think that as you kind of like look at it in this way, for me, it's like, it does give me some context. You know, it's like, I can't imagine wanting anything more, even for myself, where, you know, if anything had ever happened to me, the reaction from the people around, having felt like that was, like, that's something for me to aspire to.
To like leave a positive impact.
Is to leave a positive impact.
Yeah.
Is to have that feeling that, like, everybody who knew me or was near me would be able to know that is, it's a I can't ask for a better legacy. You
right.
know, we've talked about that before too. It's like,
yeah,
you know, for that to be.
Well, it's like it's such a good testament to the difference like a single person can make. I mean, we sort of joked, earlier about the anarchy on the pop, but that was mostly one person's doing.
Yeah.
And they've affected everyone listening now.
Right.
But we've talked a lot on the pop about when you feel like people you looked up to, like almost like celebrity status wise, have like feel like they like let you down over the years, like when you find out about like the Michael Vick stuff or the Lance Armstrong stuff, and you're just like, oh, come on, man, like this is like, it's such like a buzzkill.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they feel like these big people who you look up to, but like, and they're in like such a public eye. But I mean, this person was a doctor, so he's not entirely out of the public eye, but it's much more like local single person here at a hospital, not like worldwide nationally famous or anything. It's just like a person who has patients and people he deals with, and made like an enormous impact on like thousands of people's lives.
Right.
And it's it doesn't, you don't have to put, I think it's easy to put like celebrities or large figures up on pedestals, but and forget that any given person can still have a massive impact on a lot of people.
That's a really, really, really good way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's so true, is that it's like because I even think that idea of celebrity itself can maybe be put a little bit on a pedestal, like as if like it is desirable to have that attention and voice maybe that comes with it. Mm-hmm. But there is so much to be said for the real and individual touches that you can make with all of the people that you do know more directly.
Yeah.
And so I think, I don't know. I think that as I move forward, I know that this will have probably changed like elements of who I am, and I hope that this is just something that like I'm able to take and use it in the best possible way.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I think that in a lot of ways to even have known someone who did have such a massive impact on you, like again it goes back to that thought of like if even this was the response, if this was me, and there was someone out there who was like, okay, like I want to aspire to be like that, then I think what you have is just like that pay it forward effect, maybe, where it's like it's like kind of like positivity can breed positivity, and it's not like I feel like a lot of times we talk about positivity in this sense of like versus negativity versus criticism, and I don't want it to ever come across as like, smile through the tears type of thing or something like that. Like
right.
Don't hide negative emotions to attempt to be positive. Like that's not really like the message, I guess, that I would be projecting. I don't know, if you were to take something away from listening to our shows, our products, because I do know that one of the things that people have said about us and what we've created over so many years now is that it is a place you can go where there will be positivity.
Yeah.
Like we don't have episodes of our show, maybe this one, that are typically in a more negative vein.
Right. But I mean, and this is, I'm biased, but like even as we're talking about this right now, even though it's like a heavy topic and it's like a negative thing that happened, I feel like you're casting like a very positive light on it.
Yeah, yes, and that is what I would hope for, is just that my brain can't, probably parts sadness and sleep deprivation, but I feel like it's attempting to join thoughts and missing. I'm just so very grateful and happy that I was able to know this person, that this person was able to bring Addison to me, and that both of those things I think will make me a better person.
Well said.
Thanks. We can shift.
Transition.
Yeah, there you go. There's got to be something that isn't quite so difficult to talk about, so that people can people can walk away from this episode and and go on to have a good day.
Ben, let me just if you just want to take a real hard left turn here,
Okay,
so that we can get back onto our nonsensical, way less important, life-changing kind of conversation that we're so well known for.
Oh yes.
And
yes,
Ben, let me just say that this is a strong opinion about a weak thing.
Okay.
Snickerdoodles are the worst named thing ever.
I could not possibly agree more.
They are the worst named thing. You know why? Do you know why?
Because they're nothing like a Snickers.
Because first, the word snickerdoodle has such potential. It is one of the best words I've ever heard.
Oh yeah.
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 And I remember my mom was like, I remember when Mom told us about snickerdoodle cookies, I was like, I don't even have to taste it. I already know it's my new favorite thing. It's called a snickerdoodle.
What could make it better?
What could be better? It's like because there's no doubt in my mind that it's going to taste like peanut butter and chocolate and caramel, but also be baked into some yummy, sugary cookie goodness.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it's probably the caramel's probably a little bit melty. Wrong. Instead, it is a completely bland cinnamon looking cookie that is just not good.
It's like one of these things where it's like, how has it held prominence for so long?
I don't know.
It's like, does anybody like them?
I don't know.
It reminds me of like fruitcakes a little bit. You're like, I think this is very
holiday fruitcakes.
Yeah. It's like, do people like holiday fruitcakes?
Right.
Like, are there people out there that are like, oh man, it's my fruitcakes are back.
Aunt Nancy brought a fruitcake.
No. I disagree with the premise entirely.
Just get it out of here.
Yeah. It reminds me of like Christmas Vacation, where like I think one of the great aunts or something makes like a Jello mold, and it's got like cat food in it.
Yeah,
it's like that's pretty much what I think about when I think
that's
about.
What you think about fruitcakes,
right? So I think about fruitcakes.
It's like, and here's the thing: the weird thing about fruitcakes is that like I don't even know at this point, because I feel like they've become such a meme unto themselves.
Yeah,
it's like at this point I think people are making them ironically.
Yes,
but it's I don't. Here's the thing: I'm not even sure I've ever had a piece.
Oh, me either. But they look so unappetizing.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's like when you go up to the deli counter and you see all the different like hams and turkeys and cheeses there, and then there's like one bologna over there that has a bunch of olives in the middle of it,
like
and you're
loaf?
like, you're like, who's buying that? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't taste good, but are you telling me that on the regular, enough people come up to this counter and say, give me a pound of the olive loaf, thin sliced, please? Except they wouldn't say thin sliced. If you're ordering the olive loaf, let's face it, you're a thick slice person. Which is the wrong way to go.
Which is the wrong way to go.
Like, are you doing it? Are you getting enough turnover on the olive loaf that you need to stock it
right
all the time?
It's like you don't get like thin slivers of it. You're getting slabs of olive loaf.
You need a slab. The reason you want thin slice, by the way, strong opinion about weak things, is that the flavor of your deli meat is all just about the surface area. Like you get the flavor regardless of the thickness, right? So you may as well just pile more thin slice stuff up, because that gives you more of the surface area. You get both sides that many more times.
This is coming from someone who has a formal breaducation.
From
Panera.
From Panera bread.
So, I mean, who can argue with that? I mean,
you can't argue. I mean, that's all there is to it. But
I have a PhD in sandwiches.
So basically, olive loaf is fruitcake, is the Jello mold with the cat food from Christmas Vacation.
Is snickerdoodles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snickerdoodles are the olive loaf of cookies.
You know what I want to do is create a snickerdoodle cookie the way that I see it.
Oh.
And then like literally just go onto websites and be like, my family's favorite snickerdoodle recipe. And then just like people will then start making it. And it's like, we will start an entire rebrand of this cookie.
Ben, I so badly want one of your vlogs to be called I Fixed Snickerdoodles, You're Welcome.
That sounds like a great idea.
That's just like, I just want to see it. I want it. Because you make good cookies. Like, in a way, I feel like it's like part of your reputation. Like when Ben will bring cookies, I can't even tell you how many people I have watched try Ben's cookies for the first time because they'll be like, oh, just put cookies. It's not like, they're like being polite, like, oh, cookies, I'll have one.
Sure.
And they'll like take a bite mid conversation, and like 100% of the time they'll like look down at the cookie and go, this is a really good cookie. Like they were not like they don't look any more special. It's like an innocuous, like you're not expecting it, but then they take a bite and they're like, what is happening? But I mean, to say I've seen it happen over 10 times would be accurate. Always the same.
So okay.
I think you have it. I think you have the baking chops to fix the snickerdoodle and deliver to the world the snickerdoodle we all think we want.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
It's on. I will try my very darndest, and maybe we can share the recipe when it is created.
Please do.
And then people can go home on their own and create their own proper snickerdoodle 2.0s.
Yes.
I like this. I like this plan a lot.
I'm
Plus,
so down.
I also feel like the ingredients to cook with are just going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds fun.
Because now I really want to know what came first, the snickerdoodle cookie or the Snickers bar. Because it almost has to be the snickerdoodle cookie, in my opinion.
You think?
I feel like it has to be, but then it also makes me wonder, like when M&M, I don't know, Mars, I don't know who owns Snickers, but maybe it's just the Snickers company. Big Snicker.
Big Snick.
That sounds like a company that owns a whole bunch of like comedy clubs. Like Big Snicker.
Big Snick. Oh, like they're snickering.
Yeah. It's kind of like a laugh. Yeah, it's like how could they be like, oh, here's a good name, Snickers bar, and you'd be like, you mean like the really, really lousy cookie?
It almost sounds to me. See, my reasoning goes exactly the opposite. That the Snickers chocolate candy bar, which I think people will say Reese's. I wouldn't even say Reese's are candy bars. I think Snickers reign supreme as the best candy bar across the board. Everyone agrees.
Everyone agrees.
Everyone knows. I think they've been the most popular candy bar for so long that someone was like, I'm going to make cinnamon cookies. And then they made them and they were like, these are only okay. These are what? I just bulk ordered 200 pounds of cinnamon.
They are aggressively mediocre.
They are. That is such exactly the way I would describe snickerdoodles. Aggressively mediocre.
Yeah.
I was like, we have a problem. We overstocked on the ingredients for the snickerdoodle for which weren't called that yet, and they're like, we need a way to push. We're gonna have to save this with marketing. And they're like, what is something everyone likes that's in this realm? People were like, Snickers, right? Cheese doodles. Wrong. Not that people don't like them. Wrong category. But I see where you're going.
A cheese doodle.
Snickerdoodle. That sounds amazing. People are going to want to try snickerdoodles once. And
yes, I think that they exist for the mistake in branding.
Yeah.
Like, because I even remember as a kid, I wish I could remember the name of the company, but Mom would get these like every very once in a blue moon, this like gourmet box of cookies that came in, like, I don't know, just they were like individually wrapped. Do you remember this box? It was like green and blue checkerboard. I feel like Mom's literally used the boxes from this box kit for Christmas gifts like
interesting,
like 700 times. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, but it would be like if you ordered like gourmet popcorn from like a catalog or something.
Oh, yeah, it's like a fundraiser. Someone came around and sold, and you were like, oh, yeah, I'll buy something.
Right, but I think Mom was like, well, what types of cookies do you want? Because you can like individually select which ones you want. And I remember going through and being like, well, it's like, well, of course, we need like chocolate chips, some of the iced ones,
yeah.
Like some like chocolate brownie. And then it was like, oh, what are snickerdoodles? It's like, we should get like half of them snickerdoodles. Because I'm sure we're going to love it.
I'm sure I know what it tastes like.
Yeah. And then they arrive. you know, and
Aggressively mediocre.
and yes, but this is what happened is that everybody who doesn't know thinks they're going to love them, so they buy them,
Right.
and then they arrive and they're aggressively mediocre.
Yeah.
At which point in time, it's like they don't buy them again. But people love cookies, so everybody is constantly making the mistake. But I don't think that there's anybody who has ever ordered them and been like,
It's like a weird, unusual feedback loop. Because of course, then if you're the cookie company, you look at all your orders and you're like, "Wow, it was half snickerdoodles. This is amazing.
Yeah.
We'll put those on the front cover next year." And then they're on the front cover, and people are like, "Snickerdoodles? I'll try it."
it's a great big mistake. It's a great big
It's
mistake.
like the most purchased and then uneaten cookie,
Right.
And it's like all Big Cookie cares about is that you buy it. They don't care if you like it.
Yeah, it's like what happens. I mean, like once it's been purchased, nothing else
Who
matters.
cares?
It's like we can literally make money selling bad cookies because people don't know they're going to be.
Because marketing. You call snickerdoodles what they are. Low quality cinnamon cookies. Put that next to chocolate chip. I would like a chocolate chip. I want just regular chocolate. I want macadamia nut. Is that one called low quality cinnamon? Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
So okay, here's the other thing too, because a ginger snap is perfectly acceptable, and I feel like a ginger snap is like one step further. It's like the IPA version of a snickerdoodle, but it's like ginger snap committed, you know, and it's like
yeah.
it's like as long as you're gonna do it, do it.
Ginger snap. It's just a well-named cookie. It's like, what does it taste like? Ginger. How does it behave? It snaps.
Yeah. Like
You know everything you need to know based on that name.
right, yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing. All other cookies are named accordingly.
Right.
Like chocolate chip cookie, what do you think's in that? Chocolate chips? Yeah, you'd be dead right.
You'd be
Oatmeal raisin, what do you think's in that? Oatmeal raisin? Correct. Snickerdoodle. Snicker bar? Wrong.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even kind of close. An actual egg is closer to a Snickers bar than a Snickerdoodle cookie.
It's just an egg.
Just an egg with the shell.
Man.
Oh man, maybe even hard boiled.
Hard-boiled.
Still closer. Anyway, this has been a quality rant.
This has been, welcome to 25 minutes of really emotional Ben just had a baby, followed by 15 minutes of dumping on snickerdoodles.
As far as I'm concerned, it really had it coming.
Yeah.
It really had it coming. Okay, Jay. So I see that you have a note here, and this has come up in our notes quite a few times throughout the years. Survivor.
Well, this is my wick of the peak.
Oh, okay.
As it were.
So tell me, what has re-summoned Survivor into our show notes?
Okay.
How is it back?
Okay, well, first of all, Survivor is simply back on TV.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
Survivor is in season 41 right now, in case you're wondering. It's been on for 20 years. Amazing. 2 seasons a year. Quality, invented reality TV. If you don't like reality TV, you have Survivor to blame. However, you shouldn't, because Survivor does it right, and they still are, and it's really good. They have the same host.
Yeah,
Jeff Probst.
Jeff Probst is like a if you've never watched the show Survivor, or if you have watched the show Survivor, he is like some kind of remarkable when it comes to the way that he goes about hosting this show, because it's like he lives for the drama, but he's also like fantastic at grilling people.
He is so good at grilling people, and it's like I think it's like, because if you're going to host Survivor, it means you basically have to live on set, on location, wherever they're doing the filming,
right,
for like most of the time.
Yeah,
and they're do 2 seasons a year, and they're like always in Fiji now. So he is spending a lot of time there, completely immersed in the game, and he's been doing it for 20 years, and he like loves it and like understands it and knows it's just really well done. Anyway, they had season 40, which was the season you always wondered if they'd get to, because they had all champions playing in season 40, which was an insane season, which basically forced a situation where you'd have a 2-time winner.
Okay.
Unless Queen Bee Sandra won that season, because she played, and she until that point was the only other player to win twice.
Okay.
So the only way it could have otherwise turned out was that Sandra won again, and there was then a 3-peat champion. But it wouldn't even be 3-peat's the wrong word, because it wasn't 3 in a row, but 3-time champion.
Right.
Instead, someone else won. There are now two-time winners of Survivor. which is really cool. So anyway, though, they come off this fantastic, coolest season you've ever seen, and then COVID hits, and they have the whole year off. But now they're back for season 41. And it has, I mean, Beth and I have been watching, and no joke, we have just been like, oh my God. Like, we've been gasping out loud at tribal councils, like, oh, no. Like, just so excited, so excited. So
that's amazing.
I know.
You'll love to hear it.
Like,
You'll love to hear it.
It's amazing to me that it can still be this good. So, like, because they keep adding new elements to the game and new rules and challenges and stuff. Really fun. But anyway, the other reason I put it on here is because, like, 5 years ago or so, I applied to be on Survivor once upon a time.
You did?
And it was like, I did it just like, this was right when we were starting Super Carlin, or right when I'd gone full time with Super Carlin Brothers. So, we didn't have like any staff. I was working out of the side of my house, and I was mostly just working alone because you hadn't even gone full time yet.
Yep.
And I was just like, well, I'm kind of ahead. We just finished watching, another season of Survivor because we had lots of free time because we didn't have kids yet. And I was like, I'll give it a shot. I'll apply. It'll be fun. And they like responded back, and like I made it several layers deep into the application process.
Yeah, I remember you getting like the non-disclosure agreements and stuff that like needed to be sent out like to the family and like all just, I mean, it was like for a while, I think the whole family was like, this is gonna happen.
It felt like, it was a lot of work. It was almost like the act of just applying was almost like a part-time job.
Right.
Like it took a lot of time. Whatever reason you couldn't fill out forms like online, you had to like fill them out by hand. And there was like pages and pages and pages of questions to answer, and you're trying to like be creative with your answers. Anyway, so unfortunately, eventually I obviously didn't make it because I haven't played the game, but I was so enthused by the new season coming back. I was like, I'm going back in. So I have now reapplied for the show.
It's on.
It is on. So
Man.
We'll see. To say I'll keep you posted is even up in the air because I have no idea how their non-disclosure agreements work. Maybe I couldn't have even told you that much, but
I have already
already broken the one from 5 years ago. Who's to say? I don't know. It's been a while. I doubt it. I think it's probably okay to say what I've said, but I don't know if I'll be able to actively keep you informed as to my progress as it moves forward, but maybe I will, and hopefully I'll hear back, and maybe you'll see me in season 43.
Yeah. So the big thing like that I feel like we've always discussed with this too is that if you were to go on the show, like if you make it far enough, there's usually a moment where family comes out and they like compete with you in some way. And I know that Survivor has always been like a huge, like you and Beth, like it's been like one of like your big fandoms, like outside of everything that we do here, the Super Carlin Brothers office. But there's always been the discussion as to whether or not it would be Beth that would come out as your family member
or you that would come out. That is the question, because sometimes when the family comes out, it's just like they watch you do a game or something, and then if your team wins or you win, then that person gets to come back to camp, or you go have a party or whatever. But sometimes the person competes with whoever it is. And like, I don't like nothing against Beth or anything, but I do feel like if it was you, we would have a real strong chance at winning whatever it was.
That would be the hope.
That would be the hope.
Yeah.
Plus the other thing I feel like that maybe like helps my Survivor resume is that occasionally they do seasons called Blood vs. Water, where you come out with a loved one and you're both playing the game.
Right.
Which adds this whole element of like, those people are obviously going to work together.
Yes. Like you're never going to have like a family member turn on a family member.
Not never. There have been some stupid plays in Survivor.
Okay. Well,
some daughter convinced her mom to like let herself get voted out. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Didn't like that girl anyway.
So would there be a chance that you and I could compete together?
Dude, I don't see. I mean, that would be insane. But I'd be for it.
Okay, here's my other question for you, because you are you are a Slytherin by nature, and so one of the big questions as to like how you would approach the game is very like which stance would you take?
I have thought about it so much, Ben. I've thought about it so much.
Like, would you be a villain?
I don't know. I hope not.
It would be so absolutely remarkable if that happened, because anybody who knows you from the shows knows that you are an absolutely good person.
Yeah.
Who is like kind-hearted and caring and like friendly and approachable and all of these things, but there is that part of me that knows you're like when it comes like board games, like we've talked about it a million times.
Yeah.
You were a highly strategic person, and like you have always had a very good ability to read the pieces on the board and sort of like look several steps ahead to sort of understand like if this then that, if this then that, if this then that.
Yeah.
And as that pertains to the game itself, you either need to be highly calculating and like what are the different avenues, because you can be extremely likable but then you are a threat because everybody likes you. So as far as like the jury is concerned at that point in time, you become a big threat real fast.
It's like, yeah, it's so weird because like likability can be like your downfall early
Yes.
on in Survivor.
Or like I know one of the very common tactics is that if there is someone who is extremely unlikable, they tend to get brought along towards the end
because they won't get jury votes.
Exactly.
Like they're the shield. And it's like, oh, final 3 against this guy. Everyone hates this person. Of course they're not going to win.
Right.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of weird strategy involved in it, and like how you would play. There's been a lot I've thought about in terms of like how I might try and approach such a game, because okay, we talked earlier, there are 2 people who have ever won the game twice.
Okay.
So it's interesting to me that both those people played the game in a very similar way.
Okay.
And that is that they are they actively spy on people in the game. Like that was Sandra's thing. She would go sneak up on people and overhear conversations and just get extra knowledge and then use that to her advantage. Same thing. I don't want to spoil who the other person is, but in case you want to watch. But same thing with the other guy. He would like build shacks or hide in trees or dig holes and just overhear conversations and then use that information. And like that has worked twice for the 2 most winningest people of the game. The only other person you could argue has won the game twice is a guy named Boston Rob. He has won the game outright himself once, and he came in second one time and then married the winner of that season. So
yeah.
he navigated the 2 of them to the final 2.
Right.
So he's technically only a 1-time champion, but is effectively a 2-time champion.
He's kind of regarded as like the best player.
I would. It'd be hard pressed to not say Rob was the best player. But his strategies hold very different. Rob is like extremely charismatic,
right?
And like, so my thought is, if I'm being honest with myself, I am not as charismatic as Rob. Like, I can't play that game because I don't have that quality about me. Like, I can't do it. I could. The spying on things, I don't know if that could be my whole game, but I could definitely see that being a part of it. But there's also another person who's played and done really well named Russell, who is one of the biggest villains infamously in all of Survivor.
Yep.
And I don't think I would ever try and play as like, I don't think I have the personality to play like him either. This like, tough as nails person.
Right.
Who works on an oil rig and stuff.
Right.
He was extremely good too. But there was a moment in one of his seasons that like rung true to me so hard as like a way to be in control of the game. And he's playing early on, and they normally don't give you very many supplies to deal with.
Right.
And normally like each camp has like one machete, which is a really useful tool to like, chop down coconuts or wood or whatever you need to build.
Right.
And he just completely, no one's at camp. He just buries the machete in the sand and then, leaves. And, it takes several hours, and people start to be like, where's the machete? Like,
right.
no one can find it. And he's right there with him. Like, this is a real problem. Like, but the fact is, he knows where the machete is, and he knows what's causing the drama and the problems. And it's like, he created that chaos in camp. And because he created the chaos, it gives him power, because everyone else is freaking out about something, and he has the ability to look at it and be like, I don't have to be affected by this because I know
where it is.
I know where it is. Like, I have, and it's like,
yeah, it's
very,
like
you wouldn't think you being the one who hit it gave you any power. Like, why would that give you more power in the game? But it
does though, because I mean that's like, and from a very, very like dark standpoint, it's like you're controlling a lifeline for a group of people. Yeah. So like, for if you were to zoom back from like a much more societal level, this would be very like dictator
Yeah.
Ish. Like
And
you,
it's not
you
like-
have control because you control the food source, the water source, whatever.
But like not even, because it's not like people know. It's not like he is holding the machete and saying, "I won't give it to you unless you do what I say."
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know. But like the thing is that it is a tool that, because you have so few tools, it is one you are highly dependent on.
Yeah.
So everybody else all of a sudden has a piece of their lifeline taken from them, meaning it instills this sense of concern and fear and
Yeah,
frustration and
exactly.
irritability. Whereas like while he can play that part, doesn't necessarily have to wear all of those concerns, because
Right.
worst case scenario, he could dig it back up. Like if things got extremely dire and they couldn't break a coconut open or something, you know, he could go dig it back up, lean it against the tree and be like, how did we not see it?
Right.
You know, like,
Or just let someone else find it.
Yeah.
Like that's all there. And it's like, yeah. So he doesn't even have to. It's weird because he bears the suffering of not having the machete as well.
Right.
You know, he also no longer gets the benefit from it, but he doesn't have to wear the concern or fear because he is the one who is doing it to everyone else. And I remember watching that, and it reminded me so much of the green mallard stickers we did in high school.
Yeah.
Like you and me and John and Mike were just like, it was a complete nonsense like joke where we printed off these stickers, we made them, and we were like, we're just gonna put them all over the school for no reason.
Literally no agenda.
Literally no agenda. And we did, and they were everywhere, and people had no idea what was going on.
They're like,
and they were
with the
like,
ducks?
what's with the ducks? I saw people wearing them. People had them on their backpacks. People would open their lockers. We just slip them into people's lockers and stuff. Like, and it was like people were just no one knew, and it was like, but we knew, and it was like I could just watch it and be like, this is so interesting. Like that to me, like when I saw Russell talking about hiding the machete, I was like, I know, I get it. Like I super get the effect.
Now,
right
if you're on the show, I require, if you do something like this, you can call it like the mallard tactic.
Oh.
You know, like because they come up with names or things.
Yes.
Like okay, the mallard strategy.
Let me tell you, yeah.
and people will be like, what?
Like, here's what I used to do. This is what's gonna happen, and yeah. So I've thought about that. Like that moment is always like rung true to me. There's like I think he's describing this. He's like everyone, even as he's describing that to the camera, like it's pouring rain wherever they were in like Samoa, and everyone's like sitting back at the shelter like shivering. He's out standing in the water in the rain like, this is great. This is giving me. This feels like this doesn't bother me. He just mentally decided like the elements aren't going to affect me, and so they didn't.
Right.
You know, it was just this very weird like internal assurance
Yes.
about everything, and I was like that. I feel like incorporating some of that like chaos element into it is very good.
Yeah, I could see a scenario where you can be like a disruptor.
Yeah.
Because the other thing about this game too is that like when it ultimately comes down to like the big vote at the end, people want to know like, well, what did you do? How did you how did you earn being here?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I did this. And
You can't tell people you hid the machete though.
Well, you can't see what you can't. Yeah.
They
but
can find that out on TV.
Right. Yeah, it makes for a good quality reunion episode.
Yeah. Sorry about that, y'all. To be fair, he doesn't win. He gets runner up twice. Yeah.
Not the worst thing though.
Yeah.
Not
So
the
he does play super aggressively, but then can't get the jury to vote for him at the end, which is often the cost of playing so aggressively.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
Anyway.
It's a very subtle game. It's very interesting, and
Yeah.
it's one of these things where I would so love to watch it unfold.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing, I mean, I have always thought that if there was any way for you and I to be on there together, I do feel like that would work.
I do feel like it would. I think. Well, first of all, we would be immediately painted as like challenge threats. I think
There is that.
there's no doubt we would need to be on there with like a team of like some like NFL players or something who are like, no, look at us, look at these guys.
These guys.
These guys is a real problem.
Right.
They gonna be big deal. We got to get them out. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder, that'd be like a curious strategy too. Like if you knew you were going on and you were like, okay, stop working out, like, or just like gain I don't know, start like bulking or something like that.
I
'Cause
mean, you're gonna lose weight on this show.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So this is something. So for a very long period of time, I loved like every Survivor show. Not this Survivor, but like survival
Yeah.
show that was on TV, like Naked and Afraid. And there's another one called Alone that Alyce and I just absolutely love. But those people do. I mean, they will bulk before they get out there, just specifically so that when their body starts eating
Yeah.
away at themselves, it's eating like excess fat on your body and not your physical muscles themselves, which is
Right.
what causes you to just like despair.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be interesting.
It'd be interesting to like. I've thought about like how would I try and prep? I think I would try and do a lot of fire practice.
Oh yeah,
For sure. And then I think it always baffles me when I see people like weaving the palm fronds together. Like it's just so natural. I'm like, I have no idea how you're doing that. It feels like complete magic.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every single time they're always like, yeah, let me just like make a chair or
Yeah.
like a bed out of these things, and it's like, what?
What?
Is it just over under?
I guess it is, but it seems like after you got like several layers out, I
don't know either.
would get lost. I don't know.
Okay.
So maybe I try and learn some basic weaving.
Of course.
And I feel like getting in the pool a little bit would be good.
Oh,
Getting
swimming.
some swim chops. Not that I mean we did I did like swim team and stuff, so I know how to swim, but I think just getting some laps in would probably be good.
Not so bad.
You know.
I like strategizing like this. This is very fun.
This is the thing. It's like the weird thing about Survivor is that like it's like in a way already playing. You know,
True.
like just getting on is part of the game.
Right.
Like how do you answer the questions? How do you apply? How do you get noticed by the people?
Right.
You know, you got to get to the game.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, that's and that yeah, it's man. Cuz I have also like looked up the application procedure before myself, and it's I think probably if you're a producer picking people, my guess is that you have like character archetypes that you are like looking for.
It's something like that.
You know, because it's got to be the case where it's like this person is like an egomaniac. Like we need a couple of people who just like are completely full of it.
Right.
Like this person, very soft spoken, because not everybody who comes on the show is like, you know, fantastic on camera or
Yeah.
super charismatic, but sometimes just having someone there who's quiet, they just like fly under the radar forever.
Yeah.
You know, because nobody's really paying them any mind. They're not a specific threat socially. They're not a specific threat.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's like that is a strategy that has won people the game. It's just like just sort of don't be threatening.
Right.
Don't be too anything. Just be right in the middle
Right.
of the pack the whole time, and we'll be good.
We'll be good.
We'll be good.
Okay. Well, I think this is a good place to end it.
Okay.
Because we've raked ourselves. We've had 3 key topics: one very emotional, one very snickerdoodle, and one
Yeah.
very Survivor.
Yes.
So I mean, I feel like we've covered some good quality bases for one episode.
We sure have.
Of the pop.
Yeah.
I think other just noteworthy pieces of information that we have right now is that you and I are both in vlog form.
We are in vlog form. My first vlog back to the Jonathan Carlin vlog channel went up not 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Very exciting.
It was very exciting. Yeah, I was very pleased with the way it came out, and people were being very supportive in the comments, and it felt very good being back.
Yeah. And after, I mean, if you've been a long time listener of the pop, you know this is a topic that I've danced around about 8 million times. But I hopefully by the end of this week, the same day that this comes out, my first episode should also be going live on our channel with the Carlins.
With the Carlins, that's the name of your vlog.
That's the name
is
of
with
the
the Carlins.
With the Carlins. Yeah. I went round and round. I had like a whiteboard. I looked like a mad scientist in the house, you know, like Alyce sitting there like, you know, nursing and trying to like take care of Addie. And I'm like, okay, what are we going to do here? What do you think about this? How do we, oh man, I overthink everything. So hopefully I'll actually be like, hopefully it turns out. Man, I'm very nervous about it. I thought about talking about the like level of nerves and anxiety I've had about starting in today's episode, but maybe we'll see how the first one goes, and then we'll talk about it next week.
Okay,
good
sounds
thing to come back to.
Right.
Otherwise, guys, if you would like to support the pop over on Patreon, especially because we are currently inside of Q4, it means that anytime signing up between now and December 31st, 2021, at the $25 tier exclusive merch, you will be signed up for an exclusive vinyl record, which will have an episode of the pop that can only be listened in vinyl form.
Only on vinyl. There will be no digital version available.
Yes. And the vinyl itself will glow in the dark.
It will glow in the dark.
Which I think is going to be super cool. The quarterly tier is really great for us because we always like to have and provide merch to those people who would like it. But one of the difficult things as an online creator is as an uploader, is that gauging merchandise can be one of the harder things. So the way that we have solved that is basically by you telling us exactly how many of the things to order, and then we can do so. So if you would like to support the Pop in some way, this is a very effective way to do that and also get some cool exclusive merch along the way. That's going to be over at patreon.com/popcornculture. But otherwise, until next time,
Pop, pop.